Alright, we're going to be looking at the intersecting arc method of constructing an ellipse. And for this method, we'll be using the measurements for the major axis and minor axis, right? Which are 100 mm and 70 mm, right? The major axis is 100 mm and the minor axis is 70 mm. So I'm going to construct the major axis and minor axis. I'm going to skip forward to that part because you should be able to do that, right? Considering that we did that in previous constructions. Alright, so you can see that I have my major axis AB, which is 100 mm, and I have my minor axis CD, which is 70 mm. So for the next step, I have to locate the two focal points on the major axis, and to do that, you have to open your compass to half of the major axis. And since the major axis is 100 mm, you're going to open to 50, which is half. And then from point C, you're going to scribe it on this side of the line. And then you're going to scribe it on the other side of the line. So that's going to give you 2 points, F1 and F2. For the next step, you open your compass to a small suitable radius. And then from the center here, you're going to scribe any amount of arcs. But for this example, I'm going to use 3, right? So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to repeat it for the other side as well. 1, 2, 3. And then label it exactly as I have labeled it, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, for the next step, you're going to put your compass on point A, all right? And open to where number 1 is. Then you're going to come to F1, scribe an arc on the top, scribe an arc on the bottom. And then you repeat the same step for the other numbers. Right? Come to where point A is, open to point 2. Then you come to where F1 is and repeat the same step. Scribe an arc at the top, scribe an arc at the bottom. Come back to where point A is, open to where point 3 is. Same step again, right? One arc at the top and one at the bottom. Right, so you should have 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom. And you repeat back the same step for the other side. So come to where point B is, open to 1. Then you come to where F2 is, 1 arc at the top, 1 arc at the bottom. Come back to point B, open to number 2, 1 arc at the top, 1 arc at the bottom, open to point 3. Then you come back to where F2 is, 1 arc at the top, and 1 at the bottom. Now, for the next step, come to where point B is, and you're going to open your compass to this point 1, right? The one on the other side. Then you're going to come to F2, and you're going to scribe an arc to intersect with this one. Then scribe an arc at the bottom here to intersect with this one. So that gives you 2 points for your ellipse. Right? Then you come back to point B again. And this time you open to where point 2 is. Right? On the other side. So now you should be seeing a pattern here. Come to where F2 is. And you scribe an arc on the second arc. Scribe another arc here on the second arc. So that gives you 2 other points for your ellipse. Alright? Come back to point B, and this time you open to number 3 over here. Alright? Then you come to where F2 is, scribe an arc to intersect with this arc. Then you scribe another arc at the bottom here to intersect with that one. And that gives you 2 other points for your ellipse. So now, the same thing that was done on this side, right? You're going to repeat it over here. But instead of doing it on point B, it's going to be done on point A. So, you come to point A. Open to where point 1 is on the other side. Then, you come to F1. Scribe an arc at the top. Scribe an arc at the bottom. And that gives you 2 points for your ellipse. Come back to point A. Open to number 2. Come to F1. Scribe an arc at the top. Scribe an arc at the bottom. And that gives you 2 other points for your ellipse. Come to point A. Open to point 3. Then you come to F1. Scribe an arc at the top. Scribe an arc at the bottom. And that gives you the 2 final points for your ellipse. Now that you have all of the points for the ellipse, you can Now that you have all the points for your ellipse, you can plot the points or draw your ellipse. And that there is your ellipse after constructing in the intersecting arc method.